You know what? I'm absolutely delighted for the subject of today's video, the firefighter Paul Embery, who has politics that I think are almost as red as a fire engine. You'd think he'd be a darling of any trade union, but that's not so, folks. You see, Paul comes from that once rich tradition in the labour and trade union movement of being patriotic, with a belief in the nation state, quite liking your country, quite liking your flag, and therefore, you see, he's actually everything that these modern day trade unionists despise for his pro-nation, common-sense politics. I tell you what, I think of Barbara Castle and I think of Peter Shaw and Hugh Gateskill, Tony Benn, and I cannot imagine that any of these beasts of the labour movement of once old, would recognise the sort of pygmies that now represent the trade unions and the parliamentary party, much of the trade unions anyway. And I say, I'm delighted for Paul because he's just won a case on his own, on his tard. I know a few things about winning court cases, they're not very nice things to do. He won his case against the Fire Brigades Union in an employment tribunal that argued that he was unfairly dismissed from his union duties as a full-time regional officer in London. So, an unfair dismissal case, basically. Now, I want you to just think for a second, right? And this is the reason for his dismissal. Because he's a trade unionist that dared to speak at a pro-Brexit rally. On his own time, folks. No doubt speaking of the independence for Britain, which, by the way, many, if not most, of their trade union members would have voted for. He got absolutely no support from Labour Party people. I think I've only seen, as far as I'm aware, the likes of former MP Kate Hoey, God bless her, back in his corner. But anyway, Norwich Employment Tribunal ruled that he was unfairly dismissed after and this is they've used this language, a witch hunt with a predetermined outcome for dismissing him after appearing at a Leave Means Leave rally in March of 2019, when Mrs May had, basically made her all lose hope that Brexit would be delivered. The judgment added, "Where's the gross misconduct? How could any fair-minded member come to a reasonable belief on the facts that the claimant had committed any form of misconduct?" And I say quite right too. This is a principle of standing up for free speech. This is a principle of standing up against out-of-touch trade union bosses. The judge said that it appeared right from the start there was an agenda to remove Mr Embery from his role. And I don't know about yous, but tonight I'm going to be raising a glass to Paul Embery. I think the Fire Brigades Union was represented there by a top legal counsel, an expensive member of the Queen's Council. Meanwhile, you know what, who Paul was represented by? Himself. What a hero. What a man. I hope he has an absolutely fantastic weekend this weekend, because he bloody well deserves it. Reasoned relies upon grassroots donations from people like yourself that want us to continue producing our high quality, free thinking content. So please do consider clicking the link and donating, no matter how big, no matter how small, because it really does ensure that we can keep on keeping on.